Yesterday, we were talking about that moment when a narrative starts to take hold of you emotionally, right? Like you're watching a TV show and somebody dies on it and suddenly you're crying over a person who doesn't exist. And this works whether it's fiction or nonfiction. So the news media creates this sense of terror and emergency and chaos. And suddenly you find yourself all excited and energized, just as if you were watching a TV show. But the question is what they're talking about, does what they're talking about exist? And the reason they do this with Republicans, they did it to George W. Bush. Everything he said, everything he did was a scandal. And the reason they do it is because ultimately in every single presidency, there is going to be a crisis. There is going to be a mistake. There may even be a scandal. This is true in every presidency. And so when that happens, they want you to feel like, oh my goodness, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Because if it's Barack Obama, they just don't cover the scandals. And then when there is a scandal, something goes wrong, they say, well, he's been doing such a good job. It's a little glitch in the machinery. With Trump and with George W. Bush, when finally they make a mistake, even if it's just a cosmetic mistake like Bush made when he didn't go and visit New Orleans right away after Katrina, even if it's just a cosmetic mistake, they suddenly say, look, it's all true. Everything we've been saying up till now is true. Here's the proof. Here is the final proof. So yesterday, Gary Cohn resigned, and this is a big resignation. The guy he's a Democrat. He has fought with Trump openly about things like his Charlottesville comments. He gave a big interview about how he disagreed strongly with that. But he's been a avid free trader. He pushed the tax cut. He has been a big regulation cutter, which, as you know, is one of my pet peeves, regulations. I think it's great that he did this. And there's speculation, and this is speculation, but there's speculation that because Trump started talking about tariffs, obviously, Cohn was on the side of no tariffs, of free trade. There are other guys in the White House who are in favor of tariffs and protectionism, and there's speculation that that is why Cohn left. So he's an important guy, and it's, again, you don't like to see the president get isolated with only people who share his opinions. You want people arguing with him. You want him to hear different sides, because Trump does listen. He does hear things. So the narrative, the important narrative, is that this is yet another resignation in so many resignations. Morning Joe put out this montage of all the people resign, all of their announcements of all the people resigning. This is cut 13.
Michael Flynn has resigned.
The White House Communications Director, Mike Dubke, has resigned.
Press Secretary Sean Spicer resigning.
Reince Priebus is out. White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci resigned.
The senior administration official is confirming that Bannon will be leaving.
Keith Schiller will be departing the White House.
Health Secretary Tom Price resigns.
The Deputy National Security Advisor is now leaving.
Rob Porter is resigning. White House Communications Director Hope Hicks has resigned.
The president's chief economic advisor, Gary Cohn, has officially resigned.
So, but the bigger narrative here, of course, is that the White House is imploding, the White House is in chaos. If you type White House imploding, if you Google that, all these stories come up, but the thing is, they've been going on since Trump came into office. So we put together, this is a montage we put together, this is over the course of Trump's presidency. This is cut 16 of people basically selling you this narrative of chaos at the White House.
Because it's been a chaotic week in the White House, even by Trumpian standards.
I have never seen such chaos. I have never seen such infighting.
A White House that, keeping them honest, just about any way you look at it, is a picture of turbulence, turmoil, and yes, chaos.
What's the split on fear and loathing, and how do they now recruit folks to fill some of these jobs?
It's a great question. I think fear and loathing are heading down the track toward a photo finish.
Unglued. That is Donald Trump's current condition.
We're not even through the first year, and there's just so much chaos and so much disruption.
President Trump is at his Florida resort after a week of extraordinary turbulence that seems to signify a deepening crisis than some of the previous rocky weeks in this White House.
What matters in all of this?
What matters is chaos in the White House is bad for the United States and bad for the world.
So it's bad for everybody. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Everybody's resigning. Everybody's walking out. And obviously, Trump is a chaotic guy. I'm not going to sell you any line. I mean, these narratives always work when there's an element of truth in it. Trump tweets out the new fake news narrative is that there's chaos in the White House. Wrong. People will always come and go, and I want strong dialogue before making a final decision. I still have some people that I want to change, always seeking perfection. There is no chaos, only great energy. And then he came out yesterday and he said this is cut number 2.
The White House has tremendous energy. It has tremendous spirit. It is a great place to be working. Many people want every single job. You know, I read where, oh, gee, maybe people don't want to work for Trump. And believe me, everybody wants to work in the White House. They all want a piece of that Oval Office. They want a piece of the West Wing. And not only in terms of it looks great on their resume, it's just a great place to work. It's got tremendous energy. It's tough. I like conflict. I like having two people with different points of view, and I certainly have that. And then I make a decision. But I like watching it, I like seeing it, and I think it's the best way to go. I like different points of view.
So everybody wants to work at the White House. He says here, just for a dissenting opinion, here is a economics professor from the University of Chicago, Austin Goolsbee, asked if he would like to take Cohn's place.
I wouldn't take that job if it was the last job on earth.
Why?
Well, because the focus of the administration, to my mind, has been not where it should be, and now this slapping of tariffs threatens potentially to lead to an escalating trade war, if not an outright global recession. So that'd be category A. But category B, there's chaos on the personnel side in the White House, and you see that not just on the economic team. You've seen in communications, on the political side, on foreign policy, in the chief of staff role, now on the economic team, unprecedented turnover of personnel. And I think that's a sign that it's not a healthy environment.
So, you know, there's a certain amount of truth to this. In most presidencies, after 2 years, people start bailing. You know, if St. Francis were President St. Francis, people would still bail after 2 years. It's just that high pressure, that tough. It's that hard a job. Trump is no St. Francis. I mean, obviously, he says it himself. He likes conflict. He likes a little chaos. He likes things going on like that. If you're in a high-pressure job and you're a normal human being or even a very high-functioning human being, after about a year, you start to think like, I don't think so. You know, I'm out of here. I've done my job. But, you know, there have been about 19 major people who resigned, but I want you to listen to some of the people who resigned, just so you actually get a real sense of it. Preet Bharara, he is the guy, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, who basically defied Trump, and Trump got rid of him. Sally Yates, also, Attorney General, said she wouldn't enforce some of Trump's anti-immigration things. She was fired. Michael Flynn, he was the guy who got caught on that phone call. Pence was angry at him and that he lied about it or didn't come clean about it. Very unclear exactly what Flynn did wrong. He resigned. James Comey, fired. Obviously, a guy who was not doing what Trump wanted him to do. You know, so some of these people are just people who didn't get along. Anthony Scaramucci, bad hire, right? Came in, did this, and certainly Steve Bannon as they adjusted. My point about this is this: Trump is a neophyte. He comes in, he's never been a politician before. He's going to make more mistakes than other presidents in terms of hiring, in terms of, you know, you bring in Steve Bannon, and Steve Bannon is doing a good job in the campaign, and suddenly you think, you know, Steve Bannon doesn't know what he's doing. He proved that with Roy, what's his name, down in Roy Moore, thank you. He proved that with Roy Moore supporting him. He didn't really know what he was doing, so Trump caught on to that. He got rid of him. So you're seeing a little bit of this. Obviously, there's also stuff that's not so good. Rob Porter was badly handled. The guy who was accused of beating his wife, that should have been caught earlier on. It's a shame to lose Hope Hicks. It's somebody who, you know, really was attached at the, you know, it was like his right arm, and it's a shame to lose her. But some of this is being overplayed because of the fact that he's a neophyte who is in opposition to the Washington establishment. So you've got the real chaos that is part of his managing style and his personality, but also you've got a little extra chaos from the fact that he's just coming in here, you know, he's coming in as an opposition guy, as a guy who's opposed to the way things usually run. He's learning the ropes. So it was a little bit half and half on there. Also, one of your letters, when I asked you what would cause you to abandon Trump, one of your letters said, I can't remember, unfortunately, the name of the person who wrote this in, but one of the letters was that the very fact that Trump is unpredictable is a bad thing. The president should be predictable. I get that. I understand that. You certainly want the president to, his word to be good. The problem with Trump is he is a constant negotiator. And in a negotiation, it is an understood thing that everybody's not telling the truth, right? So you're not really lying because everybody understands when I say, this is my last offer, everybody understands that I'm taking a shot. I'm bluffing. It's like playing poker. You're playing poker. Nobody says, oh, you said you had a great hand and I turn over your cards and you don't have anything. You're a liar and a sneak. You were bluffing. It's part of the game. And Trump plays everything like that. He plays everything like that. So some of his statements not being true, some of his statements him dialing them back are part of a negotiation technique. It's not politics as usual. It's tough to deal with in a world where your word really matters. I can think of ways in which it's beneficial, like with North Korea. The guy, Trump had a wonderful joke the other day where he said, negotiating with North Korea, people say you shouldn't negotiate with a crazy man. And he said, but that's his problem, not mine. And I think that's what he's selling to Kim Jong-un in North Korea. I'm nuts, pal. You really want to mess with me? I got a great big red button. I got a big nuclear arsenal, and I am out of my freaking mind. Do you want to negotiate? Do you want to push it with me? And the other day, North Korea said, oh, yes, we'd love, it's been my father's dream to get rid of our nuclear weapons. These guys don't say anything. They'll just say, yeah, my father's dream, get rid of nuclear weapons. So they say, yes, we will negotiate. And Trump was asked what changed. This is great. This is Trump as I love him, okay? This is cut number 5.
To what do you owe this recent openness to talk?
Me. No, I think that... Nobody got that. I think that they are sincere, but I think they're sincere also because the sanctions and what we're doing with respect to North Korea, including, the great help that we've been given from China, and they can do more, but I think they've done more than certainly they've ever done for our country before. So China has been a big help. I think that's been a factor. But these sanctions have been very, very strong and very biting. And we don't want that to happen. So I really believe they are sincere. I hope they're sincere. We're going to soon find out.
I don't believe they're sincere at all. I don't believe he believes they're sincere at all. I believe that's also just kind of negotiating technique. But I love that line where they said, what changed? He said, me. And also he said it as he says everything in that New York deadpan, which is the way New Yorkers make jokes when they say something outrageous and they just keep a deadpan face. And like absolute silence in the press room, like everything he says has to be deadly serious. So again, I think that the narrative of chaos is based on a truth. Trump likes chaos. It's his managing style. It makes it much harder to work in a very, very difficult environment. But really, really, to me, the question when Gary Cohn resigned was not so much, oh, is everything imploding? Is the White House going down the drain? Because it's kind of a normal day for Trump. The real question is, did he leave over this tariff thing? And how bad are these tariffs? You heard that economic professor say a worldwide recession is on the way. Now, I love economic professors, economists never get anything right. Every single month, the numbers come out and they say, unexpectedly, they're this, unexpectedly, they're this. You think like, well, if you don't expect it every month, maybe, you should change your theories somewhere along. No, we don't want to do that. Our theories work perfectly. It's reality that is out of whack.